I think the money my mother-in-law gave for me to change my surname is too little. Called her auntie at the wedding. If only I'd known that word auntie would ruin my life. On that wedding day, even if I have to kneel on the ground, I'll also respectfully call her mom. Every time I think back to that wedding day, everything that happened is still vivid in my mind. Dozens of tables were filled with guests waiting to start eating. The flash from the camera hurt my eyes. It's time to change one's words, expressions. I'm holding the teacup in my hands. Out of the corner of my eye, I kept watching the red envelope my mother-in-law was handing over. That red envelope is pitifully thin. It weighs nothing at all when held in the hand. My heart skipped a beat. Taking advantage of the moment I'm bending over, pinched the thickness with my fingernail. At most 3 or 4,000 yuan. In that instant, a surge of heat rushed to my forehead. My best friend got married. Which one isn't worth 10 or 20,000? There are even those who claim to have 66,880. 3 or 4,000 yuan. What's that even worth? Sending away beggars? Let me at least give this daughter-in-law a taste of my authority from the start. I think of all the things my mom kept telling me before I got married. Getting married means going to live in someone else's home. You shouldn't be so weak at the beginning. Who knows how your in-laws will treat you once you get married and move into their home. Looking at my mother-in-law's face, covered in wrinkles from smiling, I made up my mind. Swallowed the word mom that had just reached my lips. I handed the teacup over with a forced smile on my face. The sound was transmitted throughout the entire banquet hall through the microphone. Auntie, please have some tea. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm used to it now. Basically, the change of mouth fee there is 20,000. That's way too little for you. The entire banquet hall fell dead silent in an instant. The expressions on my parents' faces changed instantly. The relatives were also whispering to each other below. I glanced at my husband Chen Yu, who was standing nearby. He was completely stunned at that moment, crazily trying to hint at me with my eyes. She also tugged at the hem of my wedding dress. I ignored him. Tilting my head, I wonder what my mother-in-law will do next. Anyway, the overall situation. We've already gotten the marriage certificate. Still carrying the flesh and blood of the Chen family in her womb. I thought I had a sure victory. I thought I had figured out their family's weak point. The old lady suddenly let out a cold laugh, then stood up, snatched the microphone from the host's hands. Dear friends and relatives, I'm really sorry today. This cup of tea. I, as a mother-in-law, am truly unworthy of it. If we can't afford this wedding, then the Chun family won't hold it at all. The mother-in-law turned around, didn't even give me a glance. He spoke to those below with extreme calmness. I made everyone laugh today. But since I'm already here, everyone, go ahead and eat as much as you want. We, the Chun family, will refund the entire amount of the betrothal gift as promised. I've kept you all in suspense. After saying that, he tore off the brooch on his chest, threw it on the ground, turned around and left. Chen Yu watched his mother's back. I glanced again at me, frozen on the stage. There was no usual tenderness in those eyes. Only a feeling of disgust that makes my whole body shiver remains. He didn't say a word. Left with his mother too. I'm wearing a wedding dress all by myself. Like a clown, left alone to dry on the rack. I'm 31 years old this year. In the eyes of many people, women of this age, it's already lost its value in the dating market. But before that, I'm in front of Chen Yu, always a princess held in the palm of someone's hand. Chen Yu comes from a wealthy family. He's an only child. There are 2 houses with excellent locations in the house. When we were dating, I really didn't think about getting married so soon. What's wrong with being 30? I'd like to play for a few more years. A few more years of freedom. I always feel that getting married is like entering a tomb. Daily necessities like firewood, rice, oil, and salt also have to deal with the relationship between mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. Just thinking about it gives me a headache. But half a year ago, I got pregnant unexpectedly. The day I found out I was pregnant, I called Chanyu and said I didn't want this child. We can date. I'm not ready to get married yet. I'm afraid our personalities aren't compatible. Chanyu was panicked at that moment. Drived all night to get to my apartment building. Kneeling on the ground, hold me and swear on heaven. Said that he would definitely be good to me in this lifetime. He had the sweetest talk back then, like he'd smeared honey on his lips. Delivering bird's nest personally to your door. Hold my hand. His eyes were filled with affection. Oh, what a nice girl. It's our Chan family that's sorry to you. I'm sorry for causing you any trouble. You got pregnant with me before we even entered the door. Don't worry. As long as you give birth to the child, you can put forward any conditions you like. Our family will never treat you unfairly. How beautifully spoken. If it weren't for his sincere attitude, given that you've gone to such lengths to humble yourself like this. I had the baby aborted when I was 2 months pregnant. Since you say the conditions can be whatever we want, then of course, I can't be polite. Before getting married, I've listed all the requirements clearly, one by one. The 130 square meter apartment that Chun Yu's family bought in full payment. My name must be included. The second metal component must weigh 100 grams or more. Not a single gram less. Third betrothal gift, 288,000. It can only be more, not less. When I put forward these conditions back then, my parents also told me that maybe it's a bit too much. But I said it with full confidence. Which girl these days doesn't want these when getting married? Besides, they only have one son in the family. In the future, this money, isn't it all meant for us and our children? Besides, am I really getting this for myself? I'm not doing this just to have a secure life after getting married. Not to be looked down upon by their family. The Shan family agreed to all the conditions. The house name has also been added. I also bought hardware. The 288,000 yuan betrothal money was also deposited into my card. We successfully got our marriage certificate. I think I'm the happiest and most successful woman. I've completely controlled Chun Yu's entire family. They're because of the child in my womb. Always obedient to me. But I forgot the old saying, extremes meet. My mother-in-law's obsequious behavior before marriage. It's not because she's weak. It's because she's waiting for a moment when everything is already in place. 4 months pregnant. I'm about to become a divorced woman who's remarried and pregnant. The month following the wedding fiasco, I spend every day in agony. I thought Chun Yu would act the same as before. Within 3 days, they'll come to my house and beg me to go back. I thought my mother-in-law would do everything for her eldest grandson. Once again, I bow my head in apology. I'll present those 20,000 yuan in compensation with both hands. But reality gave me a harsh slap in the face. Yesterday, Chun Yu called me. His tone was icy. Not a trace of warmth. My mom said so. If you really want to have this child born, our Chan family acknowledges this. After being born, we'll pay the child support in full without any shortfalls. But our Chan family won't accept it. If you don't want to have children, go to the hospital and take care of it yourself. We'll cover the medical expenses. I was so angry that my whole body trembled. Tears welled up in my eyes. Chan Yu, are you even a man? Who was it who knelt and begged me to give birth to them in the first place? The baby is almost 4 months old now. You want me to figure it out on my own. So, at the wedding back then, you called her auntie in front of hundreds of people. When she's left with no way out, have you ever thought about how we feel? Ask yourself with a clear conscience. You want your name added to the house before marriage. We've added it. You want hardware worth over 100,000. We bought it. You want a dowry of 288,000. We've also contributed something for you. To get married, our family's savings have been completely depleted. In total, it cost over 1 million. As a result, you had to pay 20,000 yuan as a change of mind fee to embarrass our family in public. My mom said so. You women are a bottomless pit. I can't satisfy you today. Who knows what kind of trouble might arise someday. Our family temple is small. Can't afford to support you, great Buddha. Please return the betrothal gifts and hardware items. Let's go get the divorce certificate. If you don't refund it, I'll see you in court. After Chan Yu hung up the phone, I slumped on the bed, looking at my slightly bulging stomach. Inside is a little one who's almost 4 months old. If I were to have an abortion now, it causes too much harm to the body. But what if it's born? The wedding isn't over yet. Just got divorced for the second time, still bringing along a child. How am I supposed to get married in the future? I began to be overwhelmed with great regret and unwillingness to accept it. It's not that I don't want to live. I really want to marry into the Chan family. Their family is well off. Chan, you used to be nice to me too. But why did I do that at the wedding? Was I really just after those 20,000 yuan at the time? No, I'm not. I'm just used to being pampered by their family. Plus the meddling from my best friends. I want everyone to see it at the wedding. I made my in-laws obey me completely. But I miscalculated. I thought I held the imperial sword in my hands. I never expected my mother-in-law to be even more ruthless than me. She destroyed my self-esteem. And all my future options have been completely ruined. This child hasn't been born yet. It had already turned into a frantic game between two families. Weapons that bite each other. I don't know what my future will hold for him. She took out all her resentment on him. I think he ruined my life. Or still act like a real mother. Love him without any reservations. I don't even dare to think about it. When he grew up, he asked my mother, "Why didn't Dad want us anymore?" How should I reply to him? Do I really have to tell him? Because I did it. Because his grandmother gave me 20,000 yuan less. So I decided to call her Auntie. This is definitely the stupidest thing I've ever done in my life. I lost completely, utterly defeated. The loss turned into a joke. I just made a small mistake, that's all. Are these mistakes that all women make? 3 years of marriage. Is there really not a trace of emotion at all? Now they actually want me to leave the marriage with nothing? I'm really being driven crazy lately. I just want to ask everyone. Women make a little mistake in marriage. Is a man's heart really that heartless? 4 years of marriage. Just because he secretly took the child with him. The child underwent a paternity test. Now they not only want me to leave the house with nothing, still want to sue me? Let me pay him hundreds of thousands in child support as compensation. And compensation for mental distress. I really didn't expect that. I've painstakingly built a perfect family over 4 years. It would actually be ruined by a random encounter between him and someone else. About 2 months ago, my husband happened to be on vacation that day. Said they'd come to pick me up at my dance studio after work. I just changed my clothes and went outside. Just happened to run into a male customer, bringing her daughter to sign up for dance lessons. My heart sank suddenly at that moment. My palms were instantly covered in cold sweat. Because that male client was no one else. It's my ex-boyfriend with whom I dated for 3 years before getting married. I was at the door at that time. My husband just happened to walk over. The 3 of us just ran into each other completely by surprise. I was so scared that I didn't even dare to breathe. I can only pretend not to know him at all. Greeted the male customer with great courtesy by nodding. Didn't dare to say a single extra word. I thought this matter would just be dropped without any further action. But I went home that night. My husband is sitting on the sofa, staring intently at my son who's playing with building blocks. Half an hour passed without a word being said. Then he suddenly turned his head, looking at me with that creepy stare. Say, honey, what do you think? My son and that male customer at the door today looks extremely similar. This nose, these eyes, even the contour of the jawline is exactly the same. My mind went completely blank at that moment. But I know. Absolutely no showing of weakness. I forced a smile to appear calm. Call him a lunatic. Have you watched too many mystery dramas? There are countless people in the world who look similar to each other. The child's facial features aren't fully developed yet. How can you tell who it resembles? I thought I had made him back off by scolding him. Let's just put this behind us. But I never could have imagined it. Normally, I see my husband as a very honest and decent person. The thoughts are actually so profound. He remained calm on the surface. But secretly, in the back, plucked a few strands of my son's hair, ran to the appraisal center in the city. DNA paternity test was done. A few days later, I went home from work. Just opened the door. A piece of paper hit my face hard. That's an appraisal report. The last line in bold. It clearly states that a biological father-son relationship is excluded. He sat in the dimly lit living room. The voice was as cold as an ice cellar. Lin Ping, get a divorce. You leave with nothing. Tomorrow, take your bastard son and get out of this house. My reaction at that time wasn't at all one of guilt or nervousness. Rather, it's extreme anger and a sense of betrayal. How can he be so protective of me? I rushed over and tore that report to shreds, hysterically screaming at him. Why did you secretly take your son for the appraisal? Are you mentally twisted? You're violating my right to privacy. Our 4 years of relationship. I've given so much to this home. You actually calculated me like that? He couldn't even be bothered to look at it. I sneered and said, stop talking to me about privacy. It's clearly written in black and white that it's not my child. What's your explanation? I gritted my teeth and refused to admit it. This child. It was clearly me who gave birth to the child 9 months after we got married. It was a full-term vaginal delivery. How could it not be yours? Surely there were too many people in the hospital at that time, so someone made a mistake in the reporting. Besides, there are so many appraisal agencies around these days. Hasn't anyone made any mistakes at all? He stood up right away. Step by step, you're pushing me into a corner, pointing at my nose and saying, okay, the hospital reported the wrong information, right? You really won't cry until you see the coffin. Then go and get a paternity test with your son tomorrow. Just prove that you're his real mother. So I was cheated on. Do you dare to go? In that instant, I was completely speechless. I'm like a balloon that's been punctured. Slumped on the sofa. Can't bring out a single word. Can I tell myself? Back then, my relationship with my ex-boyfriend was really good. But because his family was poor, can't bring my mom along. The betrothal gifts required. In the end, they were forcibly separated. Later, under the arrangements at home, I met my current husband through a blind date. He has good conditions. Have a house and a car. The person is also considerate. I just married him. More than a month before marriage. My ex-boyfriend suddenly got in touch with me. He says he can't forget me. At that time, my husband had just gotten promoted. They work overtime every day and ignore me. I couldn't bear the loneliness for a moment. Just like sneaking around with my ex-boyfriend again. Later, I found out that I was pregnant. Let's calculate the dates. Most likely, it's from my ex-boyfriend. After my husband found out I was pregnant, happy as if something wonderful had happened. From prenatal checkups to giving birth, he ran around the hospital non-stop. He personally took care of me during my postpartum confinement. The milk powder my son has been drinking over these 3 years is imported. Diapers are the most expensive. Even the early education classes cost 20,000 yuan in total. My husband treats this child like a precious treasure. I thought as long as I stubbornly refused to speak, this secret can be kept hidden for a lifetime. Our family of 3, I can just keep being this happy forever. Now, my husband has completely lost his composure. Heartlessly terrifying. He not only refuses to share even a single penny of our family's wealth with me, they also hired the best divorce lawyers to sue me. That day at the law firm, he tossed out a thick spreadsheet. It's completely filled with details of his expenses over these 3 years. 3 years since this bastard was born. Formula milk and diapers. Vaccines paid for out of pocket. The tuition fees for his kindergarten and early education classes. In total, it amounts to 386,000. He stared at me. There wasn't a hint of emotion in his eyes. He said that this child support was paid at my expense through fraud. I must return everything to him, not a penny less. Not only that, he pushed the legal letter at me. Because I deceived him. Raising a child who is not one's own for 3 years, it caused him immense psychological trauma. I also need to pay him an additional 200,000 in compensation for mental distress. In total, it's almost 600,000. Is he trying to drive me to death? I completely broke down at that moment. I'm kneeling on the ground, pulling at his trouser legs, crying and begging him. Honey, I know I was wrong. I was just being foolish at the time. But for these 3 years, the son has been calling you dad every day. Are all those feelings fake? How can you have the heart to just say, I don't care, and do nothing about it? He kicked me away, looking at me like I'm a pile of trash. Don't even mention those 2 words. I feel disgusted. That's someone else's bastard child. It's not my son. What's even more disheartening is yet to come. After I was driven out of my home, with no way out, go find my ex-boyfriend. I hope he'll help me for the sake of our child. As a result, when the ex-boyfriend found out that everything had been exposed, so scared that his face turned pale. Not only that, but they didn't give me a single penny either. He also scolded me. Lin Ping, are you crazy? I have a wife and a daughter of my own. What are you doing coming to me now? Don't even think about destroying my family. But my husband had no intention of letting us go at all. He didn't know what to do. Bring that copy of the paternity test. Sent to my ex-boyfriend's wife's workplace. That man's home. It's a complete mess. His wife brought along her family members, rushed to my dance studio, in front of all colleagues and clients. Beat me up. They call me a shameless mistress. The boss thinks I have a negative influence. Just fire me on the spot. I really think my husband is amazing. That's too heartless. I admit I made a mistake. But I'm just a woman with a 3-year-old child. I've lost my job now too. He also forced me to pay back those 600,000 in debt. Does he really have to watch me end up on the streets? Are you only satisfied when you're completely ruined and disgraced? I gave my youth to this family. In the end, not a single penny will be obtained. And still have to carry huge debts. Sisters, please give your opinions. Drive me into this utterly hopeless situation. Is there any justice in this world?